Today, we're going to dive into one of the most exciting frontiers in medicine, your body's hidden command center. What if I told you there's a secret gatekeeper inside all of us, and it might just hold the key to understanding some of the most common diseases of our time?
Okay, here's a wild thought for you. What if major health problems like heart disease, diabetes, even liver issues, what if they aren't totally separate problems? What if they all trace back to one single, surprising starting point? Well, it turns out a wave of new research is suggesting that's exactly the case. And that starting point, it's hiding in your gut. We're learning it's so much more than just digestion. It's really about defending your entire body. Now, to really get this, we need to meet a part of your body that scientists call the intestinal barrier. But for us, let's just think of it as a powerful, intelligent gatekeeper standing guard. I mean, think about it. This barrier is the single biggest surface separating you, your insides, from the outside world. And it has this really crucial two-part mission. Let all the good stuff in, like nutrients, but keep all the bad stuff out. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the barrier in its ideal, healthy state. The technical term is eubiosis. And you can just see how strong it looks, right? There's a really thick protective layer of mucus, and the cells themselves are packed together with what are called tight junctions. It's basically an impenetrable wall. But here's the thing. This barrier isn't working alone, not at all. It's actually home to this bustling, absolutely teeming community of microorganisms. And we call this your gut microbiota. It's your own personal inner ecosystem. And the sheer scale of this ecosystem is, well, it's just staggering. We are talking about 10 trillion bacterial cells living inside of you. To put that in perspective, that's more than the number of your own human cells. And this community, it plays a huge role in keeping that gatekeeper we just met healthy and strong.
So you can think of the health of this ecosystem as a kind of balancing act. On one side, you've got eubiosis. That's a state of beautiful balance, lots of diversity. But on the other side, you've got dysbiosis. That's an imbalance where diversity drops and some of the more problematic bacteria can start to take over.
So, what is it that knocks a healthy system out of balance? What causes it to tip over into that state of dysbiosis? Well, a lot of the triggers are things we run into pretty much every day in modern life. It's things like a high-fat diet, chronic stress, alcohol, even certain medications. All of these things can disrupt this delicate balance, pushing it towards dysbiosis, and in the process, weakening our gatekeeper. And this disruption leads to a condition you may have heard of. Researchers call it leaky gut. And as this quote on the screen explains, it's basically when bacterial byproducts, these things called endotoxins, start to escape from the gut and get into your bloodstream where they absolutely do not belong. So how does this fortress actually get breached? It's not like it happens all at once. It's more of a step-by-step breakdown of the body's defenses, like a slow-motion collapse of the castle walls. The whole process follows a pretty clear path. You start in that healthy state, eubiosis. Then dysbiosis starts to set in, that mucus layer thins out, and the bacterial neighborhood changes. And finally, those tight junctions we talked about, they start to loosen up, creating these tiny little gaps between the cells. And now, harmful stuff can leak right through, and the barrier becomes leaky. Now, one of the biggest troublemakers that slips through these new gaps is a molecule called lipopolysaccharide, or LPS for short. The best way to think about LPS is like the body's loudest alarm bell. It's part of the wall of certain bacteria, and when it shows up in your bloodstream, it triggers a massive body-wide inflammatory red alert. And this is the exact moment. This is where a local problem that started in the gut spirals into a problem for the entire body. Those alarm bells of inflammation start ringing everywhere. This diagram here shows you exactly how that local gut problem goes global. Those inflammatory triggers, like LPS, they break out of the gut, hop into the bloodstream, and from there, well, they can travel to distant organs like your liver, your heart, even your brain, just fanning the flames of disease along the way. This process sets up these direct communication highways, or what scientists call an axis, between the gut and other organs. The first and most direct route is the gut-liver axis, and that's because all the blood from your intestines goes straight to the liver to get filtered, so it's the first organ to face the onslaught of these escaped toxins. But it doesn't stop there. Next, you have the gut-heart axis. As these inflammatory molecules are circulating around, they can start to damage your blood vessels and contribute to atherosclerosis, which is that buildup of plaque in our arteries. And maybe the most fascinating of all is the gut-brain axis. This constant low-level inflammation can even cross into the brain, directly linking the health of our gut to things like our mood and even our risk for neurodegenerative diseases. So the key here is that we can now draw direct lines. For non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's that LPS, traveling to the liver and sparking inflammation. For cardiovascular disease, scientists have literally found LPS inside the plaque in people's arteries. And for type 2 diabetes, this leaky gut state is directly connected to the insulin resistance that is the hallmark of the disease. Okay, wow. Now take a look at this. And hey, don't worry, you are not expected to understand this entire diagram. The whole point of showing you this is just to give you a glimpse of the incredible scientific detail behind this whole idea. Every single line and label here represents a molecular signal. It's like an alarm getting passed from one cell to the next, confirming this whole cascade of information that all starts with that one little breach in the gut. So after all of that, what's the big takeaway? What's the one thing you should remember? Well, it's really about seeing your body as this deeply interconnected system, where the health of one part truly affects everything else. Let's just state it plainly. A weak, compromised, leaky gut barrier isn't just a digestive problem. It can actually be a central driving force behind the kind of chronic, low-grade inflammation that underpins so many of the diseases we struggle with today. But here's what I think is the most hopeful, most empowering part of this whole story. The cells that make up that lining in your gut, they're some of the fastest growing in your entire body. They completely replace themselves every few days. That means your fortress isn't fixed in stone. It's constantly being rebuilt. So the real question isn't whether it can be fixed. The question is, what choices will you make to build a stronger one?